Hey guys, welcome to another video and welcome to another 12 days of makeup. If you're just joining us, I have a whole playlist. We are talking about all things the number 12. 12 favorites, 12 favorite brands, 12 favorite lippies, 12 products on my wish list, 12 products I'm anti-hauling. All things with the number 12, and today's video is no different. Today we are talking about 12 eyeshadow shades that I love. And this video is such an exciting one because this is in collaboration with my beautiful friend Cara from Beauty and the Frizz. If you are new to Cara's channel, I'm going to have all of her information listed down below. You need to run. Don't walk, run to Cara's channel. She's new here in the beauty space. She is a mom of 2 beautiful boys, and she is a teacher like me. That's where Beauty and the Frizz comes from. She took Frizz from the name Miss Frizzle. But I absolutely have really enjoyed getting to know Cara lately. You know, when I came back to YouTube this past summer, I really wanted to focus on like finding my people, making friendships, building a community, and I am so thankful to have found Cara and to have built a friendship with her. She's just so supportive, and I'm also really excited to do this collaboration with her because all of the shades that you're gonna see today, with the exception of 2 different brands. I mean, most of these are mainstream. These can be found all over the place. But I have a feeling that Cara is going to have some indie, that she's going to have some multi-chrome, that she is going to have some amazing shades that I know I will add to my wish list in the future. So definitely, when you're done here, go check her out, tell her I sent you, subscribe, follow her, all of the good things. But why don't we go ahead and jump into this video. Okay, so I did want to clarify, this is not an eyeshadow palette video. These are eyeshadow shades. Shades that caught my eye, shades that I'm in love with, shades that I am using all of the time. And I really want you guys to appreciate this eye look here, because if you've been rocking with me for a while, you know that I am such a neutrals girl, and I always love a good shimmer. I have a matte green and purple eye. I hope the camera is picking it up. I also did a wing liner. I cannot tell you the last time that I did a winged liner, so they're kind of uneven. I mean, these look like little baby wings, but listen, we are going to take it. So I wanted to do a colorful look to really show my appreciation for these eyeshadows. And I'm gonna let you know what shades I have on my eyes right now, because those are my first 3 favorites. Now these shades are in no particular order. They are just 12 shades that I love, and it was really hard to narrow it down to 12. So the purple and green matte shades that you see on my lid, it's this one here in Jewel Bee, Mantis, and then on my inner corner is Fire Butts. This is the Sydney Grace palette. This was in collaboration with Mel Thompson. I know that this palette has been a little bit hard to get your hands on. I will have it linked down below if you can get it, if you can pre-order it or whatnot. This was my first time using Sydney Grace. Sydney Grace is an indie brand. I was absolutely so highly impressed with this formula. I love the pan sizes. They are huge. And if you're someone like me, where you are a little intimidated by color, this is a nice way to ease into it. So let's start with the purple shade Jewel Bee. That is this one right here. And let me swatch it for you. So my autofocus is it's not good. So what I'm gonna do is I will swatch them all from afar, and then I will zoom in at the end so that you can see all of them. So that one there is Jewel Bee. The next one is Mantis, the green shade. I do have a couple other shades on my eyes, but these are the 3 shades that I wanted to spotlight. This right here is Mantis. And give it a swipe. I have been so into greens lately. I probably need to figure out a way to get my swatches closer together, but listen, I'm not a great swatcher, okay? Fire Butts. I am obsessed with Fire Butts because it is definitely a metallic green shade, and you're gonna see more metallics than mattes, but it almost, look at that, one swipe, it almost has like a little bit of a gold shift. And that, in my eyes, is what makes it wearable and what makes it so, like, easy for a non-color lover to wear. So absolutely love those 3 shades. I also did have a couple shades from Makeup Geek that I wanted to share with you, and I picked these shades out. I absolutely love the Makeup Geek formula, and I just put them in this little Z palette. I do really like this green, y'all. I do really like it, but I didn't want to have a full arm of greens, so we're actually going to go with this top shade and this bottom shade, and I don't know their names, so let me pull them out and tell you. We have this purple foiled eyeshadow in Daydreamer. I love Makeup Geek and I've loved them for a really long time, but I was super excited to get my hands on their new formulation. I don't know that it's actually formulated differently or if it's just packaged different, but this is a beautiful light purple lilac shade. And if I'm gonna wear some purple on the lid, look at that one swipe. If I'm gonna wear some purple on the lid, I need it to be a shade like this that's a little bit lighter and easier for me to work with. Absolutely stunning. The other shade that I was super excited about is another foiled shade, and this is in the shade Starry Eyed. This one is much more of a daytime appropriate, wear to the office if you're a teacher kind of look. It's this one right here. Again, one swipe. Just gorgeous. Do y'all like my swatches? They're really good, right? I just don't understand why companies are not calling me to swatch their products. But you get the gist, you get the point. These shades are stunning. Like I mentioned, I've loved the Makeup Geek formula for a while. These are their new shadows, but I have a ton of their other ones. Sydney Grace was new to me, but I think that the quality of this is just absolutely amazing. Another brand, well, a lot of these were new to me, but another brand that was new to me this year was BK Beauty, and they came out with the True Beauty palette. Now this palette has my name written all over it. I don't want to talk about it too much because I do have a full first impression, so I'll link that right there if you want to check that out. But there is one shade in here that caught everybody's eye, not just the neutral lover, and it is this one right here in Kate. It's a beautiful, another one that I consider like a wearable purple. Now these are much more softer shadows, so you have to be very gentle when you're trying to swatch them. This purple is a little bit bolder, but I love this for the lower lash line if you're just looking for a pop. Being a teacher, I could wear whatever eyeshadow I want to. I mean, nobody's going to like stop me or yell at me. I'm not gonna get in trouble or anything, but I tend to like more of a toned down natural look for work. But this shade is a nice way to incorporate a pop of color. It's just so beautiful. I mean, look at these shades. Can y'all see why I love them? They are just stunning. Now I know I'm sitting here telling you that I'm a neutrals lover and that I'm pulling out some pops of color here, but listen, sometimes the color gets me, and that is what happened with the Too Faced Pumpkin Spice palette. I bought this entire palette because I really wanted that green shade. It is called Want a Piece of Me. It's more of like an olive green. It is a satin shade, and satins tend to be some of my favorite formula. I do love a bright pop of shimmer, but I really enjoy a satin formula, and this is a nice olive toned shade, and it's similar to Fire Butts where you have a little bit of a gold undertone, and it just is so beautiful. That's another one where it is a green shade, it is a pop of color, but I would wear this to work because it has that nice, almost like an old gold. If you're familiar with MAC, they have a pigment, or they had a pigment, I don't know if they still do, but they had a pigment shade that was called Old Gold, and that's what that reminds me of, just like a gold olive green shade, and it is stunning. Let's just stick with Too Faced since we're right here. I am digging back into my chocolate bar palette. This is an oldie but a goodie, an OG, and one shade that I really wanted to recommend in here is this gold shade Creme Brulee, especially if you have a deeper skin tone. I think that Creme Brulee looks beautiful on all different types of skin tones, but I did my college roommate's makeup for a concert when I was pregnant, so I think like 2 years ago, and I used this Creme Brulee shade on her lid, and it just popped on her. It looked absolutely amazing. So I'm gonna try and find the photo that I posted on Instagram and pop it in here so that you can see. But this shade is beautiful. Now you can see swatched here next to that olive green shade from the Pumpkin Spice palette, it almost looks like it has more of a copper undertone. I would not have guessed that just by looking at it, but seeing it swatched next to the other one, it really does. It's just a beautiful gold with more of a warmer coppery shade, and I love it. If you do have this palette, I highly recommend dipping into that shade, putting it all over the lid. It is gorgeous. Also, I'm sorry if I'm looking down a lot. I am swatching on my fingers, and so I have like my little wipe and a towel on my lap, and I'm trying to save time because I always film when my daughter is sleeping, so I'm trying to like wipe and talk at the same time. Now this next shade is one that may be a little bit boring, but I felt like it would be disingenuous if I did not mention this shade because it is a shade that I use for my inner corner highlight all the time. And typically, I don't get a ton of compliments on my eyeshadow because I am so basic and neutral, but if I do get a compliment, it's typically on like the pop that I have on my inner corner, and the shade that I'm using for that 99% of the time is this one right here in Vermeer. This is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance palette. I do think that perhaps Vermeer has been in a couple other palettes as well. Is it in the Soft Glam? I feel like it might be, but I don't have that palette. Anyway, like I said, this is a shade that I feel like would possibly be considered a little boring to most because it is very light and washed out. And you'll see, hopefully it shows up on my skin. There it is right there. It is super light, but at the same time, I use it all the time. I love to pop it on the inner corner. You can see here, I've hit pan on it. I use it almost every day. And like I said, if I get compliments, it's on the inner corner, and that's an eyeshadow shade that I use. So although it's not one that like jumps out at me when I'm thinking about the eyeshadows in my collection, I felt like if I'm talking about 12 eyeshadow shades that I love, I have to be true to myself and mention one that I'm using every single day because obviously it's a staple in my collection. Another palette and brand that was new to my collection in 2020 is Dominique Cosmetics. I went back and forth on getting the Latte or Latte 2 for so long, but I did pick up the original Latte palette, and while I do want to say that I love all three of the shimmer shades that they have in here, I think they're absolutely amazing. I just think there is something special about this one right here in Espresso. It's probably not the one that I wear the most. I probably wear Macchiato the most, but this Espresso shade, it's just such a beautiful, what would you consider it? A taupey gold? Do you guys see a color pattern here? And look how pigmented that is. It is just beautiful. You can see here I do have similarities in color pattern between this green shade right here, this olive green, and then now Espresso. I would say these two are the most similar. This one was in the Too Faced Pumpkin Spice palette, that green shade, and then here's the Dominique Cosmetics. But I find the Dominique Cosmetics shimmer formula just to be so pigmented. It shows up so nice on the eyes. Like I said, I do love all three of these. Let me just swatch the other two for you since I'm talking about them. They're not in my ranking, but they're right here, so I'm gonna swatch them. Okay, this one is in Macchiato and this one is in Creme Brulee. So here is Macchiato, here is Creme Brulee, here's what was left of Espresso that I swatched. So like I said, I probably get the most wear out of Macchiato, but I just feel like that Espresso shade is so unique. These shimmers are so vibrant, so beautiful. This has been a go-to palette for me, and especially for that Espresso shade. My last two palettes are on the pricey end. They're palettes that I've talked about a ton, and they're both from Natasha Denona. One is the Glam palette, one is the Bronze palette. I prefer the shimmers in the Glam palette. I find the Bronze palette to have way more fallout, and I'm not a huge fan of the fallout, but one shade that I really do love in the Bronze palette is this one right here in Palladium, and when I do reach into this palette, this is the shade that I find myself reaching for. It is a beautiful, like, I want to say almost like a copper penny, but even more rich. Let's see it swatched here next to Espresso. It is just like a beautiful, rich copper penny shade, and I find that it just looks so beautiful on my skin. I am a little bit careful when I wear shades like this that pull more of like warm orangey tones just because of my hair color, but I absolutely love the shade Palladium, and that is one that I have reached into a ton in the bronze palette. Now, like I said, I am obsessed with the shimmer formula in the Natasha Denona Glam palette. I think all of their shimmer shades are absolutely amazing, but the one I wanted to spotlight is this center eyelid shade right here. Let me swatch it for you. This is a shade that I use all over my lid. If you do have a deeper skin tone, this would probably be more of like a highlight, a brow bone highlight, an inner corner highlight. For me, it looks beautiful on the lid though. You can see it kind of blends in. It's just like a champagne gold. It's a very simple, very basic color, my kind of color story. And I find that when I am reaching into the Glam palette, I'm always using this and putting it on the lid. It would also be perfect for a spotlight, like a little halo eye, or if you want to put just a touch of something right on the center of your lid, that would be a beautiful shade to do so. So here you can see the swatches up close. The first 3 shades here were from the Sydney Grace palette. These next 2 shades were from Makeup Geek. This shade right here was the BK Beauty True Beauty palette. This one right here was the Too Faced Pumpkin Spice, followed by the Too Faced Chocolate Bar palette. This one right here, I'm pretty sure was Vermeer, Anastasia Beverly Hills. This was Espresso from the Dominique Cosmetics palette. And then these last 2 are Natasha Denona, the Bronze palette and the Glam palette. And that is going to do it for this video. These were 12 shades that I am absolutely in love with in my collection. Definitely make sure to go check Cara out. I think I forgot to introduce myself. I always do that in videos. If you are coming from Cara's channel, hello, welcome. I hope you made it this far in the video. My name is Kelly. I am a teacher by day. I actually teach 2nd grade, just like Cara, and a beauty lover by night. I love makeup. That's all there is to it. I love makeup. I'm absolutely obsessed with it. And I just thought that Cara would be the perfect person to collab with because I know that she has some bomb eyeshadow shades in her collection. I'm definitely going to be heading over to her channel. I hope that you will do so as well, that you will subscribe. If you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up on your way out. I hope that you will subscribe, stay part of the K Bella fam, hang around, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.